good evening, everyone, and welcome to this weekend interview with your host and guide, Anthony Drago. It's a pleasure to have you, as usual, every Wednesday. I look forward to this 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on a Wednesday when I get to spend time with you and with my guests, who are usually very interesting people who have qualifications, interests, passions, who are taking action. I get to have these wonderful conversations with these folks, and I share those conversations with you. So I'm always excited about that. Tonight is no exception. I have a wonderful program on tap for you tonight. Welcome to you in the audience. If you're listening to us in Dominica on RVR Jams Radio on DigiPlay Channel 59, the carry this weekend interview live, SBE Radio in the Toronto market also carries this weekend interview live. Also TGM Radio, talk and entertainment radio with Angelo Allen carries this weekend interview live. And of course, our usual channels on our Facebook page, both TDN and This Weekend Interview Facebook page, our YouTube channel, Instagram, Roku, all of those social platforms carry This Weekend Interview live. Also, tonight, I'm very excited and pleased to announce that we push past 10 and on Q95 Facebook page, they're also carrying this program live as well. So thank you to Dr. Simon Matthew and of course the management of Q95 for collaborating with us, because I think that tonight's program is very, very serious and very important. And so I'm very happy for the collaboration with these two additional media, because we have a message to get out. So without a lot of ado, I'm going to jump into tonight's program. For those of you who did not see the ads and the flyers, March 23rd is election day in Roseau for the Roseau City Council. And that happens all the time, but there are some very special circumstances that's existing right now that makes it even more interesting. And of course, my guest tonight it has been on This Weekend Interview before. He does a youth program, sports program, and he's been there in that regard. But he's also part of a group called Moon Sewie. And if you're not from Dominica or you don't speak Creole, Moon Sewie means serious people. And it's a group of young people, mostly men, but they may have a few women with them. But anyhow, it's a group of young, well, I say young. When you start referring to grown men as young, I sort of putting that time on myself. But it's a group of serious people, Munsewi, and they have been agitating and they have been fearlessly, you know, representing the views of not necessarily mainstream in terms of what is on the media or what is in the government or so on. They've been carrying that mantle for a long time. We've seen them being manhandled by the police. We've seen them on the forefront of demonstration. We've seen them being not necessarily brought along the way they should have been brought along by mainstream opposition, but they've stood firm and they've stood steadfast. And so a few of them have put their names up. They've thrown their hats in the ring to contest the Roseau City Council election. And when someone puts themselves up to run for election, we hope that they do it with a spirit of service, because running for election, becoming a representative of the people, is actually being a servant of the people, providing a service. And so I was super excited when I saw that Mr. Maggie Peters and Buju and these guys were going up for city council. I thought it was a brilliant idea. And so we reached out to them and they graciously agreed to be part of the conversation tonight. So without much further ado, let's bring up the gentleman from Munsewi. I know we have Maggie with us so far. I don't know if anybody else has joined him, but we expect a few of the others to come on. But a very warm welcome back to you, Maggie, to this week in interview.
Yeah, greetings. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate the visibility and airtime to for us to have that conversation to enlighten the people and get the people more aware of what's going on.
Yes, Maggie, it's a pleasure, and that's what I want this week in interview to be about. That's one of the things, is to be a platform that's available to folks to bring your message out. We have a little bit of a reach on a weekly basis. The program touches almost every week, and I get the reports. It's like 7,000 and upwards, depending on the popularity. It goes even further. And then if we have others like Push Past 10 and then Q95, it looks like we may reach many more people with tonight's program. So I look forward to the conversation that we are going to have. So since you're the only one that's here for now, tell us about the Roseau City Council election that's upcoming and your motivation for deciding to run.
Well, just like what we got myself in the general scheme of things in the first place is, seeing the lack of nothing is happening, lack of whole heap of nothingness, and just growing up always where you see the void and you see things not being done, you always wanna you know help, and so we saw seeing like this city council vibes have been going on for a while, but it has been on the radar. It hasn't been something that been talked about so much. So
I think we're having a little bit of technical difficulty. Maggie looked like his video is sticky. Hmm. All right, so Mag- Maggie Dunstan Maggie Peters, who was on there starting to talk to us about the reason why he decided to run the election of the roof on the Roseau City Council. He was starting to say that the Roseau City Council seemed like it was just existing, and there wasn't a lot getting done, and so they're deciding maybe they can make a difference. Maggie, are you back? Let's see.
yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay.
You were
Oh,
saying that you felt like the Roseau City Council was not establishing a presence, was not
yes, yes,
as present as it should be.
yeah, yeah. Nothing really going on. Nothing really happening. So we wanna make a difference, and we've been agitating and advocating, like you said, for on a general level for the on nationwide for the nation. And now we being part of the city see that it's an opportunity, to take a stand in the city. You know what I mean? And somewhere that we can start, and show what we are capable of, and how we can bring back that vibrancy to the city. You know what I mean? And help things to happen, because nothing has been happening for quite some time.
So as we talk about this city, for those people who in the audience who knows Dominica, what are the what is the extent geographically? What from where to where? What communities make
Okay.
up Eroso?
Okay, another member just joined me there. So that's Sherman Boston, who is a ex-consular and experienced one, been there for 9 years. So you can take that question.
Yeah, good evening,
Sherman,
good evening, good evening.
welcome, Sherman. So you were already a part of the council, you're already a councillor?
Well, I've been for the better part of 9 years since 2016, elected
Oh
to the
wow.
council.
Okay. So you have
Yeah, so
experience in the council.
expressed in the
Yeah.
council.
I was just asking Maggie, just so we can set up a frame of reference. What are the extent? Roseau, as represented by the city council, goes from what community to what communities?
Okay, Roseau, as the CDB, Roseau Central, we know Roseau Central is CDB. But
Hmm.
Roseau, as the municipality, which is city council reference, will stem from Warvincock along the sea, all the way to and Bailey Bridge and the river along Castle area and Bailey Bridge you have there by Sister Hotel there
Hmm.
in that vicinity. It stretched upwards to a certain distance up to Glasgow, going across back to Citroën, you call it, Fortney Citroën, come back down like the river is the boundary going up. I will give you exactly the boundary, but they go all the way up to Bubwa. But you have an inland boundary, but to get a better reference to the understanding it from that bridge at Waffingcock there, I can't comfort all the way to Waffingcock. That little
Okay.
separation from Fokole and Mount Daniel.
Okay.
Back
So
to the
Wavin Cock is by Fokole, no?
Fokole, right.
Wavin by Kokole, and you talk about Glasgow. Glasgow is above
Going right,
Fokole.
going inland. So
Right.
you go up Fokole, you
Above
go
Fokole.
inland,
Right.
all passing above Louisville and coming all the way
And if
across.
you so like if you draw a straight line from Glasgow go across
Well, it's like the wharf in the grass, go like you have a little wharf
hmm
sorry, in Waffing there, that wharf in there.
yeah, that's the
Going
boundary.
up, right, and to that and Mill River there, where there's the Bailey Bridge Castle Comfort.
Right. So we're not talking about Kinfield. Kinfield has its
No,
own
no,
council.
Kingsville Urban Council. So that is
Kinfield has
another
its own
council.
council. All right.
Yeah, but
So basically Fokole go up to Glasgow, go across the ridge, go back up. No, you don't get to Girodale, but you
no, no, not the Jordan, no, no.
pick up Castle Comfort.
Yeah, but it's about in India. There's a boundary in
Right.
between Jordan to the
And
sea and like coming
and
across
then you
down.
come down like by Cicero Hotel.
Right,
Now
you're
when
right.
you come down,
That river there.
so
That,
you will include Citron A and Newton
right. Literally right.
and all of that. Okay. All right.
Yes.
I think we have and so in there you encompass Bath State and Silver Lake,
Right. Louisville.
Louisville. Yeah, Louisville. Okay. I think most people should have a fair idea of the extent
Or
of
the
the
boundary.
municipality of Roseau, which is what
Uh-huh.
Roseau City Council represents. Okay, so since I have you and you have had experience being part of the council, what are the functions and the responsibilities of the city council as you understand it from your experience being on the council, having been on the council for 9 years? You're not on it currently, right? You were on it before.
Well, I was on the president council just dissolved and then hence for the elections.
Oh, but you were on it up to the time of the dissolution.
Up to yes, present up to
Up.
present.
All right, all right. So what is the understanding is supposed to be the function
Okay,
of
well,
the
let me give you like a history of the council. In the past,
Mhm.
the older folks will have remember city council in the governance, as in the policy making, or like vector control within the city, solid waste management. Um, I'll take my time to make sure I don't go too much off track. But it's a long list,
right,
like
like
burial, disposal
like
of dead bodies.
full
Disposal,
handlers, full handlers license, and so is that part of the
right. Public in houses licensing, bakery licensing,
hmm
vending within the city. So within that boundary, everything within that boundary. So
hmm
some of us think of it like it was essential, it was a proper. But within that boundary, any vending, the sidewalks, the drains, but you're responsible for governance and management.
right,
But somewhere along the line, in the time of Demi Junior Charles, the like politics came involved, and it kind of statutory bodies came into place. So we have DOASCO now is a statutory body. We have solid waste management, which is a statutory body, environmental health, and so forth. So it's kind of like the management was kind of a slash to the city council. So the
hmm
older folks would have remember city council the management,
hmm
but right now it's basically the governance with the approval of central government. So we will make policies for the exact things we're talking about, but it's kind of a shift. So then you will see like the saying that council not working, but when the management not working, they actually would blame the council for the management not working. But actually, the management aspect now is not no longer the council. We'll manage the sidewalks and the drains, we manage the vending, we'll manage to a certain extent the cleanliness of Roseau, the vector control to a certain extent. But the environmental health will come in and they'll investigate everything. So there is a statutory board, environmental health, and so forth. You understand where I'm coming from. So
right,
it kind of a shift somewhere along in the 80s. In the 80s towards the early 90s. but not much people are aware of that. So then you hear people talk about the council based on the management of this aspect, which is not
Mhm.
actually managed by the council presently. But where the council is lapsing, because the management aspect been taken away from them, the governance now, where you have to put policies in place as to how it is managed. So there's that little, that little divide in the understanding.
Okay. So for example, at carnival time, well, not even at carnival time, on a regular time when you have cruise ships and those kind of things, where people can locate their vending stalls, for example, where does um, Roseau City Council play a role in that? Do they have a say in, let's say,
Good.
they can be on the bayfront or not? Who collects the fees for the licenses? Who can go on and enforce that everybody has their food handlers permit? Those kind of things. I'm trying
Right. So then the handle is going to be back to environmental health.
environmental health.
But the vending actually is managed by city council on the sidewalks. But in the event that there's a boat within any port of entry, the
Hmm.
jurisdiction shifts from city council to the Dominica DASPER,
Uh,
Water and Seaport Agency. So anytime there's a boat, but as soon as the boat leaves dock,
mhm.
it transfers back to the council. It's a kind of a thing, it's kind of
It's,
a
it,
hard
seem-
to keep on with.
it seems like it's a little bit convoluted, and
Right,
so
right.
and so maybe that might explain some of the ineffectiveness. Maggie, so what about that? That tells you, maybe they need fresh blood, fresh ideas, that motivates you to say, "Yeah, I think I can make a difference. Let me try to go on the
Okay, well, the
council."
thing about it about me is I love finding solutions to problem. I enjoy that, and I see that there are a lot of issues that need solutions on that level, and also it affects us all, the youths and them, because it is also part of the damn thing is the green space, the recreation grounds. All this is part of city council, and that's my vibes, the sports and the
Yeah.
youths and them and all that kind of thing. So all this is where, and even events and stuff like that. So all these are the aspect of where I can come in and assist and to help to make things move, because there's a lack of recreation space for the youth in the city, which has dismantled a lot of clubs like Blue Stars, Kens, Brownies clubs. They are Team Central, no place to train, no place to play, and that is that leads to a lot of the criminal activities, because when idle hands, when you have got no place to recreate, idle minds go astray. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So these are the kind of things that draw me in, to want to be get involved.
So your platform is mostly focused on youth, young people sports. Let's say, if you were to make a case for why somebody should vote for you.
Yeah, well, that's one of my main aim, along. But I'm willing to collaborate with everybody to, because I that's even though that's my thing, but I can help to solve any problem, all kind of problem, any issues.
But if I take you back to the governance and the management, also all the sporting and sporting areas and the community centers follow the jurisdiction of city council. So like the youth will directly follow the jurisdiction of city council. Now, one of the main aspects of city council, and I like to say local government, because it is termed city council, but it is actual local governance, is protection of green spaces within the city, and as there is the jurisdiction around the island of local government, the protection of green spaces in the country on by United Nations standards, local government is in charge of that. But with some of our local government councils, rural city council, urban council, rural councils, but it's actually local government. That's why you see there's an election to put people to govern this aspect. But one of the key principles and the key functions of them is protecting the green spaces, but then it is kind of underfined, underfunded. So you look at the savannah as a green space, a park, the gardens. So local government is charged to protect that on international standards. And that is one of the key features, but where we lack the actual intuition and the knowledge. So you'll find persons on the council not even aware of the actual function. And I when I say the council, not just rules of city council, but councils run the island because all the island, they are councils or local governments. So in essence, every 3 years, there's local government elections within the particular jurisdictions, and then there's central government elections every 5 years.
every five
I
years.
just have to give
So
you a better understanding.
yeah, definitely. That's something that I am curious about. So in the jurisdiction of the Roseau City Council, for example, we know we have some long-standing, let's call them playing fields, parks where
Right,
you can go and play your football. You have
right.
Pottersville Savannah, you have the park next to the hospital,
Lindo
Lindo
Park,
Park. Lindo
Lindo
Park.
Park,
We have a relatively newer one in Bath State, I think. Down by the river there's one
Lindo,
there, right?
right,
We have Windsor Park, or we had Windsor Park. It's now a
right.
stadium. So I don't know if that's still under the jurisdiction of the council. It's now the stadium. Is the stadium under the jurisdiction of the
It
council?
is. Once it's a recreation area,
It's
a green
supposed
space, it's
to.
supposed to be on there. Although
Uh-huh.
there's like the stadium management, because it kind of more on a central government basis, but the jurisdiction always remain under the city council. And I want to
Under
bring
the,
your attention on your viewers to the Roseau City Council Act.
mm-hmm,
Okay, the last time that been revised in 2001.
mm-hmm.
Okay, but that act will hold the laws of the governance in the law for the Roseau City Council. Okay, and Maggie is getting familiarized with it. And I can safely say that the persons that I have been engaged with at the council, they kind of oblivious to the act and to what their purpose really is. So then there that problem within the normal functioning of the council.
All right. Um, how is the council? How does the council get money? Where,
Right.
where does the money from the council come
I
from?
well, that question, I love that question because I think that is one of the key areas where the citizenry kind of get a little kind of distorted. Council is charged for the license of bakeries, the license of public houses, the license of vendors on the sidewalk, and most importantly, the collection of the municipal tax, your
Hmm.
land and house rates.
Right.
Okay, and that is the main
Source of
finance for
income.
source of income, the main revenue stream for the council.
Hmm.
So in essence, the government gives a subvention of something like 25, let's say around $25,000 monthly. But you
Okay.
could kind of ascribe it to the fact that you cannot charge government to any municipal tax. So like that will just cover the land and house rate for any government building. So you can't charge any government owned buildings. But government will give a subvention right to the council based on that. But the main revenue stream for the council is the municipal tax.
Okay.
And that is
So,
where the problem really arises.
so tell us about the tax. So what is the tax rate, if you know it
Well,
offhand?
I know it, man. The tax rate is 1.25% per half year. So in essence, it's 2.5% of the value of your property per year. Now, the value of a property is calculated by the length, width, and height of your building or property, and then there's a fixed rate for your
For
land
per square foot or something?
per square foot, right? There's a fixed rate. We just have a fixed rate for the land, and then it kind of differentiated when you look at the building structure on that piece of property. So they calculate the length, width, and height so of the building, and then they'll ask a rate to it. But it's kind of a minimal. Okay, like if you look at like in the other jurisdictions, other countries, you'll find they use the actual value of your property. So you see, like if you go to places like Guadeloupe, because Guadeloupe kind of a mirror our local governance, but because the economy better, they actually charge you based on the actual value of your property. Whereas in here in Dominica, the rate is
It's a
too
nominal rate.
nominal. Yeah, it kind of almost like nothing. But I
Right.
mean,
No, so
in essence.
so let me ask you,
Mhm.
in when we were describing the geographic area of the city, there's a lot of unoccupied, well, like not unoccupied. I don't mean to say that it's not owned, but there's just idle land. There's a lot of forests. If you
Right.
go and so on, that's not. There's no charge for that, right?
So there's a chat for like is a fixed rate for the land. So
For the land.
there's any building structure on it, or the land is just like derrick land. So they'll and I'll revert back to the act.
Hmm.
Okay, the sanitation of building, walk, fences, and structures. Okay, and I'll go on to say like the council make bylaws for the drainage and sewage,
Hmm.
scavenging and removal of disposal excreta.
Okay.
Okay, infection and contagious diseases, disposal of dead bodies. I just name in a few.
Mm.
Removal and disposal of derelict buildings and structures being a hazard to the public. So council jurisdiction in on your property. Once it is classified a hazard, we can go and clear it out. Okay?
And charge the owner for the cost of that.
And charge the owner for the cost. Right. That is it.
Okay. Okay. Now, um, Maggie, coming back to sports and the playing field, right?
Yeah.
Um, it's not a secret that I'm highly critical of the government and the use of playing fields. Now I'm finding out tonight, I just learned that this is supposed to be under the jurisdiction of the council, local council, whether it's village council or town council or city council. But it seems as though the current administration only see our playing fields as place where they can build structures. Like so we see maybe not so much in Roseau, but for example, the last time I was in Dominica, I saw the Pottersville Savannah was given as a staging area for construction at the Goodwill School, and so on. Is that one of the things that you would fight against? Because it looks like the use of, and I'll give you a little history of that. When the last time Coney Island was in Dominica in Pottersville, it was myself and a few partners, business partners, that brought them. And in exchange for the use of the playing field for the time that Coney Island was going to be on there, because the football teams and people who used to use the park was going to be denied use of that park. In exchange for that, we ended up fencing the Pottersville Savannah and paid Domlec to bring a couple poles and put lighting on the park. Um, at that time, to me, it seemed like it was clear cut. This belongs to the community. If you're going to use it and the community is not going to get the use, you have to pay something. And that's what we ended up paying, the fencing of the park and so on. I guess what I'm asking is, and maybe, Mr. Bellot might chime in. When we see those things still happening, like are the contractors paying for use of the Pottersville Savannah for using there as a laydown area to stage for construction? When we have festivals and we have shows, they're being held in the parks. So is the city council responsible for giving permission and two, negotiating what it would cost that person to for use of the park?
Well, actually, and also the jurisdiction, and I'll do it directly from the law so we can get a better perspective. Okay. City council is also responsible for any activities within the city, any public entertainment and performances. So
Mhm.
you will have to receive from any area in the city, on the street, on a park, you have to pay directly to the council for entertainment, any entertainment. Let me just go back to it right there. Public entertainment and performances.
And
So there is a
performance.
fee for that also. So you
How
have to
much?
go and seek permission from the
Mhm.
council, and then you have to pay a fee based on the cleaning after your event. And so in either area you have to have an event, you have to engage the council. Even if it's Creole Festival,
I was
even
just
if
going to
you,
ask about Creole Festival. So therefore, the council get paid a ton of money for Creole Festival then.
but you see an intervention of the government, you see that is what you'll find. Now why the government always looking to put their people. So then kind of a negligence. Although they would engage the council, it's just like engagement on a football, they will pay. But the actual payment, because of the influence of central government, you'll find the minimal kind of the period kind of a minimal.
Okay.
But they actually have to seek permission to write to the council, carnival committee, Creole festival, any event.
Hmm.
You have to go through the council.
Well, with the amount of festivals and things, the city council should be better funded.
Better for it. I agree with you.
Okay.
But then challenging it, we have to have persons that are one aware of the law, aware of the jurisdiction, and two, go after that financing. But when you have persons there, like the sole purpose of the council is to be submissive to the government, then like anything that will affect the government is just like being a yes council. In my 9 years, that is my experience.
Right.
Okay? And I can safely say it, and I with no apology.
Right.
Okay. So I mean, we don't have thinking to have a council to challenge the government, but we need things to be working based on the law. Okay, based on
Mhm.
the law. And with that being said, we got to need a council that is not contrary to the government because nobody want to be against the government.
They're
But
supposed to
then
work together. Mhm.
you can't right, you can't sacrifice the people because in essence, council is there to bridge the gap between central government and the citizens. That is
Mhm.
actually one of the main functions of the council. Okay, so when government is, in the aspiration of governance reaching too high and the citizens being left out, we have to say, no, hold on, wait. No. We have to remember we need the citizens, we need the, basically like to keep the government in check.
Okay, guys, I need to take a quick break. We are at the bottom of the hour. It's 8:56. Take a quick commercial break. We hear from the sponsors. Maggie, when we come back, if your other colleagues haven't joined us as yet, I'll ask both of you guys to just represent them, talk about them, and what if you're familiar with what their interests are and that sort of thing. If they haven't come by the time we come back from the break, we'll talk
Oh,
about them as well. Okay.
okay.
All right, so let's take a quick break, folks. Stay tuned. We're talking about the Roseau City Council election that's taking place on the 23rd of March. We'll be right back.
Presented by
People say I've got a great smile. Well, I have to say, this is all thanks to the professional team at Beacon Dental Group right here in Dorchester, Massachusetts. I've got world-class dental care. Beacon Dental Group has expert and caring staff dedicated to providing the most advanced and satisfactory treatment in all aspects of oral health. Their services are designed to meet your needs and give you a perfect smile, too. General checkups, cosmetic surgery, Gemini laser service, and advanced procedures, all in a state-of-the-art facility. Call or visit Beacon Dental Group today, 1026 Blue Hill Avenue, Dorchester, Massachusetts, or call 617-282-2146 for a smile that lights the world.
Looking to promote your business, engage current customers, and reach new people? Well, look no further. From the basic presentation to a fully fledged advertisement, use your video ads to attract customers. At Man's Audiovisual Productions, we do just that. We produce videos for business and event promotions, product demo videos, animated explainer videos, fundraiser ads, and much, much more. Engage your clients and sell online. We customize the video to match your brand design. Guaranteed to play flawless on all devices, including smart TVs. Contact us at telephone number 203-690-4342 or 767-245-6238. Visit our website, mansaudiovisual.com, or email us at derekvideo@gmail.com.
Running a radio station shouldn't be chaos. It should be simple, smart, and professional. With Joan Premium, your entire week schedule is beautifully organized and easy to manage. Real-time accuracy keeps your listeners in sync with every show. Your visitors and audience sees the right schedule every time, wherever they are. They can even choose different time zones. From analytics to social media and native app integration, Joan Premium is the professional tool your station deserves. You're never alone. We provide priority support for active license users. We're building a community. Connect with broadcasters worldwide through our Joan Community Hubs. Choose your plan, annual flexibility, or lifetime freedom. Get Joan Premium today. www.gndenterprisesinc.com or call 877-698-9894 for more information.
Net Choice Radio. Welcome back, folks. And we are here talking with some candidates for the Roseau City Council. The upcoming election is on March the 23rd. And we're encouraging you to go to vote, by the way. And we have to talk a bit. I suspect tonight's program is going to go a little bit longer because we have to talk about the voters and who is going to vote and that sort of thing. But we encourage everybody who is registered in the Roseau constituency to turn out to vote because a lot of times elections are won or lost, won by the wrong people, lost by the people we should vote for because we did not take the time to go to vote. And we know all over the world, local government elections they usually have a lower turnout than general elections. So let's make this one different. We have a lot of energy. We have a lot of, I guess, new blood or whatever. So make sure you mark it as part of what you're going to do on the 23rd. Today is the 18th, so 5 days from now, we want you to mark it and to go to vote. Tonight so far, I have Maggie Dunstan Peters and Sherman Boston so far as my guests. We're
And
expecting a few more. Say it again.
the other two guys are here. We have two more guys here.
We have two more guys here, and there's supposed to be a link.
Lennon Baptist and Kashmir Richards.
So what I'm going to do before we go much further, I'm going to give each person. I know. Sherman and Maggie, you've been talking for the last half hour. So maybe we'll start with the new guys. Talk about which ward you represent and why somebody should vote for you. So let's start with Buju.
Hello, good night.
Yeah.
My name is Kashmir Richards. Most people know me as Buju.
All right. That's what's your name, Kashma Richards. Okay.
Kashmir Richards.
All right. Welcome.
Christian. My boy knows me as Buju.
Mm-hmm.
I am contesting for Ward 1, which is parts of Fort Lee, Newton, Kings Hill, Emsall, Virgin, parts of Virgin, parts of Bath Road, High Street.
Okay.
My main reason for contesting the town council election is that we need a new direction in Dominica, a new change. The Roseau as a city needs a new inspiration and direction, and that is what I have put myself up to come into the council as new inspiration, a new generation coming in, new ideas, because the council is a team effort. And without a good team with you in the council, it's very difficult to promise the citizenry anything because all ideas have to be voted on. And if the ideas aren't voted on or you're not supported by your other members, it's very difficult to bring the ideas that you express to the public to fruition. So we just come in, I particularly come in to just inject a new inspiration to the council.
Is there any particular item that you have a specific concern on that you would actually, if you were part of the council, you probably would be the champion on that particular cause?
The closure and relocation of the landfill located in Ward 4 of Roseau, because that is a national issue. It doesn't only affect Roseau, it affects the entire island because that's where the garbage coming. And over, or if you can correct me, Mr. Mossel, almost 40 years plus years is the community of stock farm and environs that suffer in the task of dealing with the conditions of the landfill or the burning of the tires, the poor management. So this is one of the core issues that I'd like to champion, that a council can not challenge government to, but challenge the government to want to do that for the people. And
Okay.
the other thing I must add that is the expansion of the cemetery. Is that is again, it's a Roseau City Council, is a Roseau issue, but it has national implications. So in the city, the cemetery is expansion, not just for the residents of Roseau, but for the residents of the country, because a lot of people just go all over the place, but then they just find themselves back to the public cemetery. So it needs expansion.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Next, introduce yourself. Tell us what ward and what are your main reason for running.
Well, I'm Lenny John Baptist, better known as Tola, representing Ward 1. Myself and Buju are the two representatives of Ward 1. My symbol will be the tree, wood will be the bicycle, and so many main reasons why me should be on the council and we especially should be on the council. So many main reasons I don't know where to start and how to start, but I will tell you, one of my main reasons is to pull the people together. I think we divided politically badly in Dominica, and this is a problem. We need to bridge that gap.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to bridge that gap because for Dominica to fix right now, to me, the people need to come together. We need to put down that segregation. We need to put down our little differences and the party colors for the better good of the country right now. And the direction we go is not good.
To pick up put down the party colors and pick up the flag.
Thank
That's
you very
right.
much.
Best way to put it. Lovely.
So I figure out it needs to start from somewhere. So if we can get into the local government where we can at least advocate more for the people and for the different communities and the districts will be better.
Yes, sir.
Right. And so you say you just want to be part of the team in general. You don't have a specific pinpoint that you would want to like be a champion for. You would just be part of the team.
As I tell you, there is so many, brother.
Mhm.
We're pregnant with issues, we're pregnant with boy. So many, we overwhelmed. You understand? So many. And to be honest, being a righteous man, brother, I can only speak righteousness to you. And or beside the football grounds, we have the basketball ground, we have an icon building in our community, which is the Newton Hall School.
Mhm.
Understand? And it is a very significant thing that we really need to look at. This is a place where many people went to school. You know, prominent people from the community, a lot of them went to school in the Newton Hall School. It's a building of probably 200 years plus. And it needs to be restored. We can turn it into a museum. You know, we have one of the major sports club in Dominica, which is Harlem. And football, everybody knows, started in Newton, which is the maker of football. So I see we could use it as a building for the museum. We can put an upstairs on it also, which we can also turn into a community center because we don't have a community center in Newton, and we can use it to enhance adult education at nights, even for children that do have the opportunity to have a computer at their home, so they could come there to do their homework, to do their research for schools. to help the place move forward,
Right.
I think there's so many stuff, brother. So many.
All right. Well, we get it. You do have some specific things, but
Yeah, a lot, a
but
lot, a lot,
there's
a
a lot.
lot.
All right. Let's go next to go back to Sherman. Sherman, we're talking about Ward 1 and Ward 3 and Ward 5. Um, in
What for?
addition to Ward 4,
Forward.
so yeah, that's what I was going to say. How many? Let's understand the structure. How many wards? How many representatives per ward? And how the council? What's the constitution of the council altogether?
Thank you. Essentially, the council is comprised of 40 members. 40 members, 8 of the members been elected, and 5 of the members been nominated by the minister, or essentially by the government.
Okay.
Okay, so
Which
there is
minister? Without cutting you. Which
well,
minister?
the minister of community development, basically.
Okay. Minister of Community Development. Okay. Go ahead.
Right. So essentially, there is that avenue for the eight elected councillors to be citizen based and community based, but the 5 members, the governmental base will always be there because they have 5 members.
Right.
Okay, so then they can bring the government perspective to the council, but then the 8 members should essentially be not within the mind frame of the government to champion the cause, not to oppose the government, okay, but to keep the government grounded and not to just work to, because in economics and economy, sometimes we get carried away and forget the citizens. And we see that rampant in Dominica right now. Because you see, like, Dominica is modernizing infrastructure development. But if you look at the development have left the people down behind. Okay, and right now, because the international airport, I mean, we welcome it, but and we talk a little further outside the council, but it essentially is part of the council because Road City Council is the leading council, the head council within the local governance. And there's that organization, DALCA, the Organization of Local Dominican Organization of Local Governments. There's the umbrella where all local governments will come together, and the Road City Council is automatically the chairman of that body. So speaking on a more national level, from Road City Council perspective, is actually normal and natural. Because in essence, once DALCA is activated, then the City Council is automatically the chairman of that body of local government. But you can see like the development, the country, like when people come in, you'll see that the country being developed. But then the spending power, the purchasing power, the chance for locals to actually compete within that market where, we open the country, that diverse open the country where people will come in with so much economical power. They're just going to wipe us out. And that is a thing the council have to take to the government. You cannot open the country, the world to people, all that big financing. And don't even have any way your people, your citizens can actually compete. So speaking on that from a council point of view is actually normal. Okay, because local government have to keep the central government grounded. And you can see like right now, they cannot drift away from that concept. Because when that international airport door open, and we do have policies in place, we have purchasing of land and people come and they bid. You see in Roseau right now. Roseau foreigners are buying up all the main property. Because when, let us say, a square foot of land in Roseau is $350, $400. Foreigners are actually offering $600 and $700. We cannot even afford the free and for the market value. But the foreigners are coming in and they're offering way more because they can afford. So we need to come together to kind of curtail that because, how do you see, if next 5-10 years, the place will be owned by outsiders, no foreigners, no place for the locals to compete. So that is one of the key issues. And we need a council, and as I say, not to oppose the government, but to put the correction where we see it is needed. We can have a council that just go with the government because in essence, that is our main function. To keep the citizenry always have opportunity. Okay, on a general, you know, national level. Okay, that is that organization was formed. And you can go back in the history of local government, it has always been that. But like right now, through political parties and government hijacking the councils, that defense for the citizenry, it kind of fading away.
Okay. So you represent what ward? You're running in what ward?
I run in Ward 4, like the
Ward
biggest
4.
ward based
Okay.
on the jurisdiction, based on the population. Ward
So
4.
all right.
Mm.
So what one starts in the south, and as you go 2, 3, 4 is 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 like because you representing a Folkway side, right?
Populi, Stock Farm, Yampies,
Okay. Okay.
Gutter Village, part of Goodwill and Pottersville.
Okay. I know you have two. Is it two guys that's missing? A lady and and
Yes,
a guy.
yes.
So who wants to talk about them? I
Okay,
know
like,
like Christina Sobas and who's the other person?
Christina Sober, right? This is a young lady, very enthusiastic. I've known her for quite some time, but she's like Maggie, she's another sport enthusiastic. She's a teacher, so she working constantly with the youth.
Okay.
I worked with her in community service. Even after working Maria, we did a lot of work together in the area, in our ward, and also in Roseau and environs.
Mm-hmm.
So she's a person, she has the community at heart. She's presently now the president of the Lindo Park Development Committee. She's now the president there, and she's a teacher at the West High School.
Coach
Okay.
as well.
She coached the national football team. She's on the
She's a former national player.
former national women national player football, and
Mhm.
she's also on the DFA,
Yes.
the DFA board. She's also in the referee association. So she's a versed person. She's somebody that you can see she have the background for that kind of a community work and community development.
Mm-hmm.
So she's, a perfect one, almost perfect. And then the other is an entrepreneur in Roseau. He's the entrepreneur, Jason John Baptist. Otherwise, those are heads, and he has that one pot. So we have about a four small, 3 locations in Roseau and one in Portsmouth, and looking to expand. Okay, so he's one of the people that actually bring in a little vibrancy to the city, and he will have extended to the next town, which is Portsmouth, and looking to expand because he really going for it. He really have the injecting that energy in the nightlife in Dominica, in Roseau.
Okay, so Jason John Baptist, and so those are the guys that are under the Moon Sewe umbrella.
Umbrella, right?
Essentially. Yeah. And there's how many of you? One, two,
Six of
six,
us.
6 of you. And so the idea is that it would be nice, it would be great if all 6 of you were to get elected because you'll be coming in as a team and
As a
and and,
team.
and being able to consult among yourselves and come with a united position when it comes up to issues. All right. So Maggie, I'll come back to you because we had you on first, and but now we're introducing each person on their own again. I'll come back to you and ask you your area of interest is sport. Well, not just one, but you're heavily involved in sports, and we see that you've really have a really vibrant sports program where you have young people that come to practice. Those dedicated ones. Some of them have gotten opportunities to go to study in terms of scholarships and all of those things. We know that's going to be affected with the recent um, ban on Dominica and Dominicans in terms of being able to get student visas and all of those things. So just talk about some of those issues that you really feeling the pain in have your hand on the pulse of the community as feeling that pain and what the benefits would be if a Munsewie 6 were to be part of that 13. You'd still be a little bit in the minority, but hopefully there'll be one or two that will join you on some issues, right?
Definitely,
Um,
definitely.
what kind of impact you would imagine that could have?
Yeah, well, definitely, in terms of like you said, the the playing fields in the recreation area spaces and stuff like that is a major issue. I take for instance, I coach the Fonkole United Football Club, and they have no field nowhere near Fonkole to train, and we play in the National League. We have to go all the way to Lindo Park and share the field with a whole heap of other teams, and the field already still is not a regulation, not even half the regulation size of the field that you play in on a in the league. So these things, and when I look at these things, it's not so difficult to solve this thing, but the interest have to be there, the willingness have to be there, and you have to have people in there that have that willingness and that drive to want to get these things done and see it as important. And these are things that have been looked down upon, like it's just it's nothing. You know what I mean? Because they don't see it like a business, like it bringing in income, but they don't see the what the significance of it, of that. When you have the youth and them, involved and in this kind of activities, then it's just less. It diminishes a bit in the crime rates, crime and violence and stuff like that, because I mean, they get a place for them to exercise themselves and do put the energy in a positive direction. So when you have any community, you have a certain amount of a population, you supposed to have recreation space. And when you deprive the community of these things, in a sense, you deprive it. That's like a human right violation. You're violating the human right to recreate, and you never know who, because you don't have that platform there for you to go and show. You never know who have that skill to become something. You don't even get the chance. So
Yeah.
this is something. This is something that we really need to go inside there and make it, people and them know, like, yo, we need to stand up, and come together to provide that for the youth, especially the youngsters coming behind, coming up. The place is theirs. So we really want to make that contribution, and to help to bring that that vibes back.
Right. And so, folks, if you joined us late tonight, my guests on this weekend interview are candidates for the Roseau City Council who are running under the Moonsewe umbrella. We're familiar with the Moonsewe guys. They go around the country and they advocate for the education of the public, making people be familiar with the Constitution. That's what I like about them, because they're giving you that grounding. So when you take a position, your position is supported by the Constitution, and so therefore you can stand strong and not waver. And so they're taking it to the next level, where they are running to be part of the Roseau City Council as a team, and we can see the benefit of that. And if you missed the 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 the, the the description of the council, the municipality of Roseau, the city of Roseau is divided into 4 wards, and there are 2 elected members from each ward. That will put 8 members on the council. The other 5 members are nominated by the central government, and so it's a pity that a lot of times village council and city council elections seem to be contested almost around party lines. It should not be that way. It should be that members of the community who want to serve and who the community members recognize as leaders in the community should be given the opportunity to be on the council, because in all of these councils, the central government has the ability to nominate members onto the council. So it's almost not fair that they should be also um, supporting so openly candidates to also be part of the elected electorate, because it was structured that
Yeah.
way for a reason,
Mhm.
that the people who are elected from the community are in the majority, in this case 8 to 5.
Yes.
So when you have, say, the central government now using its resources to put among the elected folks that will also represent the interests of the central government, it skews the whole idea of local government. And so, as electors, we have to be able to push back against that. The government is already powerful. They have the purse. They have 5 members, and so in order to make sure that your interest is represented, you need to make sure that you vote folks who represent your interests. And I suggest that a team, people who can come together before the election as a team, gives you the best chance of your ideas and your concerns being addressed. And of course, the person who gets selected as the mayor, and you guys can talk about that, also is a vote among the councillors, right? Majority vote.
The what about the councillors? So in essence, with government five nominees, they actually need two persons in the interest, and they dictate who the mayor is.
Who the
And we have
mayor.
seen that over the years. In my 9 years at the council, we have seen that, and that is one of the main reasons the council have remained ineffective, because then we have persons placed on the council representing the government interests and forgetting the interests of the people. And therefore, you see that issue arising. And I just want to bring a thing to the viewers. Imagine that in my time in the council, we don't have no reason to ask government to repair the sidewalk. But because of lack of funding, we'll essentially go to them to fund us repairing the sidewalk. And then for the better part of 20 years, the city have been waiting on that Roseau development or Roseau enhancement project. So every time we'd have gone to the government, they'd have said, no man, not a problem. We don't funding that the Roseau enhancement project is on its way. So then in a sense they wouldn't assist us, because of lack of funding to repair the sidewalks. But what you'd see over the years, when somebody gets injured on the sidewalk, and we have 2 or 3 times that persons have taken the council to court, although the government prevents us, well, not really prevents us, but because of the person's majority in each of the government, when they say, no, no, don't think this sidewalk is coming, we agree. But then you see the courts have actually, persons have actually sued the council for injuries on the sidewalk. And we have to pay that lawsuit. Not government, but government actually stopping the sidewalk from being repaired. And I mean, we don't need to ask them. That's why I say we need a council that actually for the people, because we can raise funds and fix this sidewalk. We don't need no permission. If we fix the sidewalk today, we fix it for the citizens. Tomorrow, they say they're going to do their project, they rip it up, it's all well and good. But we need to protect the people, the pedestrians using the sidewalk. Okay, and if someone is injured there, the court actually grants them what in favor of them, because we are responsible to keep the sidewalk walkable. And I find it a rather strange thing when I see situation. So we need to have a council. Okay, we'll go there and get the private sector, do what we can do in our personal self, bring the people together, because this sidewalk is for us all. And repair certain parts of the sidewalk that are very dangerous. Okay? But government will prevent us from doing it, but the lawsuit will come, and then we have to find the money to pay. If we can find the money to pay that lawsuit, we can find the money to repair the sidewalk. All right.
That's correct. That's correct. And Tyrone Nicholas is making a very good point. He's saying just by presenting yourselves for the election in the way that you're doing it, you're actually creating an awareness around the election and the selection of folks on the city council. People are getting educated as to what is the city council, what is its responsibility, how it's supposed to operate, and all of that, how it's funded and so on. So you guys have already achieved quite a bit just by putting yourself up for the election in the way that you put yourself up for the election. But it would be nice if you could actually win and get fresh blood, fresh ideas injected into the council. Now, I don't want to distract folks too much, but it's something that's important. There is currently a re-registration of electors happening in Dominica, where everybody is supposed to go and confirm that they are who they are on the really voting list and get confirmed as electors. One of the things that has complicated this thing is that the new people who have not been on the list, somebody who just turned 18 years old, or somebody who for whatever reason had not been on the list, or maybe they newly moved to Roseau, because a lot of people move from the rural areas into Roseau, and now Roseau is now their place of residence, and maybe they want to vote in Roseau, they have not been allowed to get onto the voters list in almost a year now, since the the reconfirmation started. Any one of you can jump in and answer that question. How are we? How is that? What's it, what How does that affect the dynamic of the election? On what list our voters are going to be voting in this election? And all about those folks who have been disenfranchised because they were not allowed to register.
Okay, it caused an issue because we have been doing a lot of groundwork, not a lot because the time is short, but we have been
Mm,
presenting ourselves to the public as a group. So a lot of questions rise up. And one of the main questions, I have not confirmed. I don't think I'm eligible to vote, but it's kind of difficult to reach people to tell them we have actually reverted back to the list of May, the last list of May of 2025.
mhm.
So confirmation doesn't play a part in this election. But mentally, a lot of people, because they have not been confirmed, this is going to
Think,
cause a low turnout to the polls if
yeah, it's
we
going
don't
to
get that
affect.
information out there.
Right.
But confirmation doesn't play no part in you voting in this election,
If you were on the list from 2025,
May
you can
2025.
come to vote.
You can
But
come to vote, yes.
what about the folks who will have been registering for the first time between that list and now? Is there anything in place
Well, registration was closed. From May, it just reopened in March, the 9th of March. It
mhm,
just opened it. And
mhm.
that is one of the things that causing the disenfranchisement of citizens, even citizens locally, because in essence, as a body, as a council, we wrote to the Electoral Commission. And I would have liked to have that letter present today, but for some during the course of time, we'll have get that to you so you could present to the general public. And they didn't find it enough sufficient reason to actually postpone the election. But we actually were asking that because of this enfranchisement of citizens and not who have turned 18, because there isn't a law saying when you're 18, you have to register. You are eligible to be registered at 18, but you can register at 25, at
Right.
13
Hmm.
when your interest back. But that's why registration have to be ongoing. It doesn't have to stop. So at any point you have to say 18, you can register. So not just only the persons that have been turned 18 that have been disenfranchised, but person who
Didn't register before.
didn't register
And
and
feel like no, they want to register.
no, they had an interest within that period of time and they could not have registered.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
just to add to that, in terms of like the youngsters, which is where I come in terms of, dealing with the youngsters, a lot of them would want to come in and participate and, to vote for places like myself and Christina, but that now puts us at a little disadvantage. You know what I mean? And like you said, it disenfranchising people from, participating. And you know, that's a violation. People.
That's a violation. And I mean, like I say, it has people who just turned 18. It has people who didn't bother with elections before, but now with you guys or the new energy, they say, "Whoa, that sounds interesting. Let me go and vote. Let me go register to vote." And they have, as I said, there because of the way the economy is organized now, where there is so little economic activity in the rural areas, a lot of people are relocating to the city to get the jobs that's available in the city. And if they've been residing there for 6 months, they're eligible to register in that jurisdiction. Then
Definitely.
they've been out of luck for the last almost a year
Definitely.
from May to March. But let's continue to push the message to folks that even if you had not gone back to reconfirm, if you were already on the voters list, you you are eligible, so you should vote. And also, I think they were saying that if even if you like your name don't come out on the type list, if you went in and registered and you have your receipt to show that you went in to register, you will be allowed to vote, something like that. So
Well,
so folks all now so can go to wherever the office is for them to be able to register,
We
uh,
have to
uh, uh,
verify that.
and register. Um, that's what I read. Like I said, I read it, but I don't know if it's true. But the election is on the 23rd. Is it like general election where there is a cutoff and a close for registration for?
There is a cutoff.
Mhm.
Actually, the cutoff would have been the last time, and this would have been published, would have been sometime in November when the new list will be published. So the cutoff would have actually been in November. So essentially, we're speaking about the person who would have registered between May and November. Okay, that is the law, just like general election, but you still find there's a certain sense of disenfranchisement. Okay, and registration reopened on the 9th, and it doesn't affect the election. People, persons who register now will not be able to vote.
Will not be able to vote. Oh
No.
wow, wow, that's serious. So let's push the message to let everybody know that, especially because of those complications, if you voted in the last election, if you were on the list in 2025, you are still eligible to vote in this upcoming election. So you should show up and vote. We can register our protest, we can register our displeasure with the disenfranchisement, but let's not stay on the outside. Let us try to get our people who we know will push for a different type of vibe, to so to speak. Let's take the opportunity to encourage everybody to register. So we are after the hour, but I'm going to go around again to everybody and give everybody a chance to make fresh remarks, closing remarks. And if there's anything that we haven't spoken about that you intended to talk about, this is the time to do it. Um, we can start on the other end again with Buju, I guess. Yeah. Okay, we can start with Buju. Buju, just closing remarks. As I said, anything that you haven't spoken about, you can feel
I
free.
believe,
Just closing. Mhm.
I believe we didn't mention also that one of the key differences between the city council election and the central government election is that you can vote for two candidates on the ballot of the city council election. And that is important information that a lot of people are not aware of. You
Mhm.
can vote for one person if you want, but you have the choice of
To
two
vote for two
candidates
people. Okay.
on the city council election. And I'd just like to close by saying that the time is now. It may be short, but once you are aware of the city council's election, you are a registered voter within the municipality of the city. I encourage you to participate in the election because this is the only way we can send a message to not to the authorities and to ourselves as citizens of Roseau that we want to go in a different direction. The status quo not working, and this election is paramount to showing what direction we as a people want to go. Do we want the same of the dull nothingness, or we want a fresh injection of fresh ideas, fresh inspiration, and fresh hope? This is what is on the line on the election, and I ask everybody within the municipality of Roseau registered to show up and participate in your life. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
well, in closing remarks, what I would really like to say, now it's time for our generation to take part in, get involved, to get involved in our issues. We really get involved in. So we cannot be staying on the side and saying, "Boy, it's not changing. It's always the same way." And I realize we have to realize now is the time for us to take part. Now is the time for us to get involved, especially our generation, because age creeping up on us, time passing, and if we don't get involved now, what we're going to do or what we're going to leave for the generation after us So we really need to, now with the time I see in our generation, we really need to take part and get involved in this type of things, because it's way too long now. And we really need the difference. Now with the time we're going to Voodoo, we really need to show we need something different. Too much of the same thing over and over. So we need to do something different for ourselves. If we know we deserve better, we should do better now.
Thank you, and all the best to you as well, Lenny.
Yeah.
Okay, for me, when I look at the divide of the country, you know, for the, and I like to say the worst part of the past 25 years, one set of people have been celebrating, okay? Whether it is they are of a right choice, but they align themselves with what the status quo have been, and they have been celebrating. And half of the country have been sad. But let us take this time, this opportunity to give us something to celebrate, to inject that vigor, that courage again, because we seem to be losing that. People are giving up. So let us give ourselves a chance to celebrate, to come together, so that courage can come back, that ignite that fire, and then we can move into the next phase of our life, so that we can actually choose. And so, if as Buju say, if we continue with the status quo, or if we're going to ignite change, but we can start that change right here, right now, in the road to the future. Thank you.
Yeah, Maggie.
Yeah, just want to share the same, and I want to encourage. I want to encourage even those that are not that are in the diaspora out there that know what we are about. You know, encourage your families and friends here. You know, I mean, message them, talk to them. You know, I mean, be in their head, make them know how important this is. You know, I mean, those that cannot register to vote, the youngsters and them, talk to your parents, you know, your uncle, your nene, and talk to them and tell them how important that is, because you're young and you're coming up and you've seen what happened, and you know you want to support but you don't have the age yet. And so we all have to come together to make it happen. Which I get to is a collaboration, is a joint effort, is a togetherness, and really encouraging everybody out there. Like appreciate you guys out there in Canada and wherever you are, giving us the platform to promote and speak to the people, and really encouraging everybody out there. You know, if you want Dominica, let's get the place back to being Dominica again. You know, the green, everything. Let's be one people and not divided like tribalism. You know, let's get rid of tribalism.
All right. Now there's a comment here from one of the audience I want us to address, and whoever wants to respond, if all of you want to respond, because it goes to the heart of the matter, where it is suggesting, and people who have that opinion might say my vote will not make a difference. That's why I want to bring it up for us to address it. He says these guys have great ideas, and if the mechanism of government is ready for real local government, they will do wonders. But alas, as a former councillor myself, I know that central government bureaucracy will destroy that passion and drive, because local government does not operate outside the confines and authority of central government. That alone will be counterproductive to their goals and objectives. Godspeed to them still. I hope they get to represent in a manner that they wish to. So the reason why I want to address that is because if somebody has that opinion, it's almost easy for them not to go to vote. You know, they have something comes up, they can let me go take care of my business before I go to vote, because my vote not going to make a difference. I don't think he's putting that comment with that intention, but I am identifying that if as a voter somebody has that position, it's easy for them to decide not to go to vote. But on several fronts, I want you guys to address that you know you're going up, because you know you're going up against a system that is filled with bureaucracy and obstacles and whatever. But you feel like you want to go in there and try to dismantle that and put something in that's effective for the people. So go ahead and address that concern. Anybody can jump in.
Well, as I explained to you, like everything in local government is by law. Then the local government act, city council also act. So I can understand why you maybe are discouraged, but it came to the same thing again when the government and the ideology they hijack the council. But if we go against the hijack, not to say we're going against the government, but the hijack of the council, we can prevent it now because for the past years they haven't been that vigor, that other personality is ones and ones. But right now, we can name 8 persons that we know how the citizens are at, and because they know they are with the support of each other, I can guarantee you we're going to see a difference this time.
Okay. Anybody else?
Okay, well, what I want to say about that is it will be a difference for sure because what have been happening for the past years, most of the people that been elected on the council is people who always align with the political party or they have some allegiance with the political party that they. But that is one of the things we want to break that, we want to stamp that up. So that is why we present ourselves as a team to put a team effort because if we have to do it as individuals and when you get on the council, then it is difficult for the ideas or your idea to push through. But if you do as a team, then it will be easier for the idea to go across because it takes 8 elected members to form the council. 8 elected members to form.
That's actually 7.
Right. To form the council and plus 5 elected by the government, which makes it 14 in all. But if we have 8, the majority is 7, according to Mr. Boston. So if we have at least 7 of us that are elected, then with majority, so then it will be easier because everything is on a vote, as we said earlier.
Democracy.
So then if we have the majority, I mean, we can always push a narrative as to the idea we want to push across for the benefit of the people. But when it's you alone, it will be difficult. And another thing is, anytime someone has to come out to exercise their voting rights, I believe to myself it's of something of importance.
Right. Okay.
That's something that should be taken for granted.
Right. Anybody else, or we wrap it up? Buju, you want to go? Go ahead.
I'd like to tell the people that believe that we coming in to say fight against central government. No. As a team, the record will reflect the ideas that we voted on. If central government wants to, through the minister, wants to block those ideas, the record will show that this council was a working council. This council voted on ideas that we want to implement, and it will be quite obvious to the public where the blockage will come from. So I want to assure the public that even in the past, failure has occurred in the council for the fact that the council has been infiltrated by central government, and how would I say it? What's it with mediocrity has been the norm with the council. We would like to assure the public that they should not fear in the council not trying for them, because this is a council that will try to achieve. But there is, as we say, a law, and no matter what the council votes on, it is subject to the approval of the minister through central government. So the lack of work from this new council that will come in, especially if this team is elected, the record will reflect that we will have put in the work, and if our ideas are not implemented, it is because the central government doesn't want to implement the ideas. I wouldn't be looking bad on the council. It will only reflect bad onto central government that they did not support their people idea.
And I want to add something to that. Because every meeting, every idea, every vote of the council is recorded in the Gazette.
Wow. Okay.
So it will be gazetted, and the record will show just what it transferred. And we as the council, we will publicize it other than the Gazette. We'll make the people know. We will make it public. Okay? So then, in essence, the government will have no choice but to do what is beneficial for the citizenry, or they will just blatantly show that they are not interested in anything that is progressive for the citizenry.
of the council. All right. So, folks, I want to say thank you. If there's anybody that wants that feel like there's one more contribution you want to make, raise your hand and go ahead. Other than that, I'm going to say thank you very much and good luck. Lenny, you want to
Let me just say
go ahead?
quickly,
Go ahead, man.
the same vibes. Like Moon Survey, we have been over the years putting in the work, and we will continue. We will continue, and so us getting in there
Hmm.
is a guarantee that we're not just yes sir and yes ma'am people. So when we bring ideas and the minister say no, we want the minister to explain to us no, why no, what is the reason why, and we're going to, we're not just going to be yes, okay, no, okay, and we cool. No, we're not.
Advocate, we
We have
advocate
to
for the
advocate,
people.
we have to discuss, and we have to explain why no and how we can make it happen, that kind of thing. All right.
Awesome. All right. So, folks, thank you so much. And as I said, all the best to the four of you who are on the program, plus Miss Sobas and plus Jason John Baptist, the entire Moon Seria team. I look forward to you guys being successful. But as one of the Tyrone in the audience says, you, in a sense, you've already achieved a victory because of the energy that you've brought to this election. It has already changed the narrative. It has energized the discussion about the role of the council, the condition of Roseau, what can be done differently. People understand what are some of the encumbrances that the council encounters when it tries to do stuff, how you get your financing and all of that. I myself learned a lot about the city council tonight. So I want to tell you guys all the best. Good luck, and all the best, and we appreciate you standing up. We appreciate you putting your personal business aside for the moments and for the hours that you go and try to educate the community, and you putting yourself forward to serve, because essentially that's what it is. You putting yourself forward to serve. So thank you again and all the best. Let's talk when you guys get back get on the council. Let's start, come back and let's tell people what the council hopes to achieve
For
in
sure, it will
Rockville.
be good.
And thanks for the opportunity and your platform, sir, to reach out to the public. We really appreciate it. We would like to thank you because sometimes you would see we try our best. We like a press conference, certain media houses, they even give us the like today. We thanking MO News and all those that came out to actually give us their platform. Okay, and then no, that was express our appreciation. So we have to thank you.
You're very welcome, very very welcome. And this is an open mic. You have an open invitation, I should say, to come back whenever for whatever it is that you're doing. All right, all the best,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, folks, there you have it. Very enlightening discussion. I learned so much tonight. We understand it's a little bit of gymnastics, to for the council to operate, because the council it has a responsibility, let's say, but they also can be, they didn't say it in that term, but they could be vetoed by the central government. The minister has to sign off on certain things. So unless you have a council that's really strong, you can easily just get the responsibility. You hold the bag. Somebody trips and fall on the sidewalk and they sue, and it's the council that they're suing. But on the other hand, you don't have the responsibility to to make decisions to fix that particular sidewalk or to charge a certain amount for the festival. We see the crowds, the huge crowd in Roseau for Carnival. If we have to estimate that, and this is happening in the house of the city council should have a really an access to get some funds from that, so that when the carnival is done, there is something that can happen in Roseau, whether it's a cleanup or otherwise. Um, City Council, when a house burns down in Roseau, they have some of the responsibility. What say do they have with the equipment that the fire department has? So do you get the feeling that the dance that's supposed to happen between city council and the various statutory bodies and central government and the minister, it can take some finessing, but also maybe sometimes what we don't need is finesse. What we need is some young blood that can actually get in there and be strong, and to represent the community with a certain energy and a certain vibe and a certain force that can really catch the attention of the community and by extension the authorities, and then we can finally see some progress. So we wish the candidates all the best. I'm excited. When I saw it, I'm ready. I follow Munsewi all the time. I'm a huge fan of Munsewi and what they do. So I was like, yes, we have to try to get these guys on. And in my mind, I'm hoping that this is the little ember that can energize our young people, energize our community, and it can carry into like a nationwide movement where we have grassroots uprising, where we can make a difference in the village council election, in the town council election, in the sports committee and all of that. I'm hoping that this strong show of force by Munsewie can really snowball. Well, in Dominica we don't have snow, but anyhow, can turn into a hurricane, and really blow some wind of change into Dominica, because we are hurting. I looked at the footage from De Blanche, and I see, it's not that I don't think it's that Dominicans don't care. I think it's that Dominicans are starting to feel hopeless, and even with a stop order put in place by our planning division, we see people still openly, not even sneaking behind, just openly defying that stop order. And even our police, who is supposed to enforce the law, is actually helping them to go against the stop order that was issued by the planning department. Why am I talking about that in a show of city council? Because whichever council that has jurisdiction in that area have, will have an election coming up soon. And we need a more energized local government, because that is what it is. We want our city council and our town council and our village council to actually be the government that's on the ground, that can buffer the community against harsh policy from the central government, but also can also know, that area there is need a feeder road, because most of our farmers have land in that area. Our community hall was broken by Maria, and the young people have nowhere to keep a little dance and represent that. When the government decide that the only place they have to build a school is on the playing field, we can push back against that and suggest alternate locations to them. Get really involved. When our water system doesn't work the way it works, we are familiar with our community. We can say, that area up there is where we can put a water tank. That river over there, we need maybe to plant some trees or whatever it is. Because if a strong and vibrant local government, you actually have the people who live in that space every day who are affected, really getting involved in the governance and the administration of the affairs of their community. Farmers might want somewhere to sell their produce. Let's identify a place so they can come on a Saturday or Sunday or Friday, bring their produce to the rest of the community. It becomes convenient for them because they know exactly where they can go to get their stuff. There's so much that the people can achieve with the same resources that they have, but it's just better planned, because The ideas are coming from the community. It's being channeled in an organized way through local government, and it can and therefore you have folks who can represent the interests of the community to the minister, to the statutory bodies, and those people who have the money and who can veto or override a decision from the council. So again, folks, thank you for staying with us. I hope you feel energized and hopeful from this initiative that these young men are doing under the umbrella of the Munseria Group. And when I do programs like that, it gives me hope that I should not give up, because there is always a spark that's waiting to touch some dry grass and really ignite. So good night, folks. you know Continue to enjoy your week. Have a great weekend, and we come back next week. Next week we're going to be doing the our Green MAGA program, Make Agriculture Great Again, with Adrian Banis. And it's also World Rivers Day coming up as well. So we, of course, we'll talk about water, because I'm a water man, I'm a water engineer, and I'm just passionate about the environment. And so we will definitely talk about the rivers, but we also have some good news for you, that all six of these Munseria guys and gal got elected to the Roseau City Council. All the best to them. Good night.